Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Harebrained Games. Seriously, this week we're going to talk about Disney's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, the wildest game in the wilderness. This is a game for 2 to 4 players. It features that all remarkably memorable ride, Big Thunder Mountain, that many of us have embarked upon as a child. You are destined to get victory points and help the town out by mining and prospecting and clearing out water, etc., etc. Okay, I'm back to that voice. I'm done with that. Anyway, let's take a look at what's inside. Okay, let's take a look at what comes in Big Thunder Mountain, the wildest game in the wilderness. First off, you get this box. That's handy. Then you get this player board. Now, this is no mere player board. You have these pieces that you place around the track. It was puzzling at first, but eventually I figured it out. And then you place it over this tray. Now, this tray represents the mountain in all its glorious form. Uh, and what you do with this tray is you allow marbles to drop into the various reservoirs because you're going to be traveling around in your cart and picking up some of these marbles, which represent golden Dunbar Hills. You also get the spinny mountain, which you'll see as you rotate. And look, they all come out. Put them in there. Reservoir. There's also one red marble that always triggers some crazy event. Everybody gets a starting deck of supplies, or starting deck of various things, not supplies, but you have cards. They represent things you can do on your turn, and we'll get into those shortly. So everyone gets 8 of those. They get a a tableau template here, which lets you have upgrades and money, or tokens, whatever they call them. Everybody gets a cart to place their stuff in. They've got all these colors. They're different colors. Kind of feel like I'm at a baby shower with those colors, but whatever. And you get this supply deck, which has upgraded supplies. You're able to, over time, grab different cards that'll give you a little boost in your ability to thunderously traverse the mountain. There's also town shares. These are cards that you can buy. They're worth victory points at the end. And of course, you get the upgrades. And you have tokens. Then, again, everyone starts at 0. The object of the game, of course, is to win. Let's get into that now. Okay, so I've set up a 4-player game. Now, the first thing we do as we prepare the game is we have 4 players. Let's put out 4 of these. See, we put out 4. Let's spin it up and turn it on. Look at that. All right. So we got ourselves the first 4 marbles, so I don't want to be losing those. And on your turn, you're going to follow the steps of this chart here. Now, everybody, again, we start off, and we're going to go in order of, what the heck, we're just going to go in order. We'll start with green, blue, what the heck. No, we're going to start with yellow, because that's how I feel today. Anyway, so 1, shuffle your deck, draw 4 cards. This should be familiar to deck builder folks. And the first thing you do is you run 3 marbles. So there's a 1, 2, 3. All right. So now we're supplying the mountain with goodies. And then you can play your 4 cards. Now, what these represent, it's pretty simple. You've got movement. You've got the ability to remove water. Let's go over those marbles. See, obviously the game is to win. Let's go over that first. To win, you want to be the person with the most victory points. Once any player gets to 20, that triggers the end game. Everyone else has one final turn, and then you'll count up your points and whatever shares you've earned to get the final tally on who won. On your turn, you have a cart, and we have the yellow cart. We can choose movement, move 2 spaces, move 2 spaces. We can remove water, which is helpful to the town, and so they will pay you in tokens, like coins, which you will use to buy things later, and move. Or this one lets you do one thing. Some of the cards let you do both. This one says you can do that or do that. In this case, let's take a look at the situation. Now, I would like some gold. So if I move a space, I don't have anything there that lets me actually grab gold. So I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to use this to move 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to use this to move 2. Okay, and then I'm going to use this to move, because there's nothing else I can do with it. And then I'm going to use this to take this water, put it back in the mountain, and then I get a token on my there. We can have up to 5 of these, because as you'll note the costs, 3, 2, 4, 4, 2, 3, etc. All right, so that is the end of my turn. So I don't have to use all my cards. I can keep, discard, redraw, whatever. At the end of my turn, I will draw back up to 4 cards. Or if you have the special upgrade, you can have a 5-card hand. And that's it. That's the end of yellow's turn. Now let's go to gray. Now what will gray do for you? First off, we're going to get 3 more marbles. 1, 2, 3. All right. So now we have 3 more marbles. Now we're going to do this again. And this time we have some more interesting things. Now note that we have the ability to pickaxe gold, and we have to pan for gold. Now what's the difference? Well, if there's any water in the gold, and this counts as like pure gold, so you get 2 for it. This counts as sort of ore that can become gold. It counts for 1 raw ore. So basically these, the whoppers and the butterscotches, are just 2 different values of gold, and then the water. So in this case, we have an interesting conundrum. Now, I'd probably want to just use this to discard to move. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to move here. Then I'm going to use my pickaxe to load this onto my cart. Then I don't really have any opportunity anywhere coming close to be able to do anything, so I'm just going to use my last 2 to move. There we go. And that's it. That's it for my turn as well. I will discard my cards, draw up to 4, which I'm not going to worry about it. We already know that's there. All right, and then we're done. Now we go to blue's turn. And blue, before we do anything, we're going to yet again do 1, 2, 3. All right, so there we go. Now we are set. So Mr. Blue is going to draw these. Oh, this is a good one. So now Blue in his cart has some choices. So what is Blue going to do? He has to go at least 3 spaces to be able to do anything interesting. And he's going to. This one lets discard to move. So he's going to do that because there's nothing he can get gold with. So he's going to do that. Then he's going to upgrade. This means that he can grab any one of these and add it to his discard pile. So he's going to grab this one, because he likes that movement rating, and put it in the discard pile, because that'll come around when he next reshuffles and recreates his draw deck. Then he can move 1 space as well. You can do these in any order. The only ones are the ones that say do this or do that. So we're going to do that. We're going to move here. Then we're going to move 2 spaces. Now this is what I'm going to show you now. He's only going to move 1 space. So you can pass others on your way if you wanted to, but that's less valuable than that. So he's going to move 1 space instead. That's going to bump this cart over here. And finally, he's going to pan for gold. He can pan for gold anywhere there's ore or gold with water. There's gold and there's water. So there you go. Yay! And that's that. Now we're going to speed up the game a little bit because you've really seen pretty much the essence of everything. But what's going to happen when it gets interesting is when you start going uh, to the town. As you're going around grabbing your ore, you're eventually going to get to town. In town, there are two things you can do. You can sell your gold. You can sell this gold for either 2 town tokens or 2 points. So either you just put them back in there. So you can either grab 2 of these tokens, and or you can grab 2 victory points. Your choice. The ore, the brown ore, the whoppers, they make mouths happy, counts for 1. So basically, you just do one or the other. So that's really what you can do. Yeah, and then while you're in town, you can buy one upgrade or 1 town share. Now, what is that valuable? So, for example, I really want a larger hand, so I only have 3. If I had 4, I could buy that. I'm going to buy this, which means that all my raw ore, all my whoppers are become gold, become butterscotch. And so I spend the 3, and now I've got a potent power I can have up to 3 of. The other thing you can do is you can buy a town share. They cost 2, and they're worth 1, 2, or 3. You don't know until the end of the game. These are sort of hidden victory points, and that's that. There's not a lot extra. Let's just go over this. A lot of these upgrades, you'll see they're pretty potent. Some of them let you move a lot. Some of them let you pan for gold. Some of them give you double movement, like you can move 1 and then do something and then move 2, etc. The other thing is the red. If you ever get a red marble and a red marble falls out, then you draw this fate die, and it does different things for everybody. Dinosaur discovery. All players draw 1 card from their deck. Or storms are brewing. Place all minecarts in town. So some of these are they're not necessarily good or bad. They're sort of neutral. But that's really the game. And you're just gonna go and you're gonna travel forward. When someone gets to 20 or past it, triggers the end game. Everyone else gets a turn. And then at the end, you're going to go, okay, well, take those points and add whatever points you had from town shares. The first person to get to 20 gets to pick one of these canned shares. Of course, they pick the 3. And then you add them up, and whoever is done wins the game. That's Big Thunder Mountain. Big Thunder. All right, let's get into my final thoughts on Disney's Big Thunder Mountain. All right, my final thoughts on Big Thunder Mountain from Disney. Now, I have a lot of great nostalgia of the Disney of old. Growing up, going to Disneyland a couple times, several times in my life, and just like Disneyland was magnifique for a child like me. It was perfect. So, with that, let's go into the cons, the pros, and then my final thoughts. I have to be honest about the cons. There's an issue with the mountain mold that has come up that is pretty prevalent and needs to be discussed. And that is that the mold itself, the plastic mold, as you're turning and having the marbles drop down, there's a strong bias towards one side of the mountain and not the other. And it's been parroted by other people, but I have found it to be pretty remarkably true. They'll go one side or the other. Now in the playthrough, it worked out a little bit. It's kind of cheating a little bit because you can kind of like the pressure you put on the mountain as you're turning it, you're trying everything. If it was something that was like just temporary, or I played it once and everything went to the left side, I wouldn't go that far. But I did a lot of experimentation with it because I liked. Oh, I gave it away. I liked the game. I experimented with a lot of things to try and get it evenly distributed. First off, I confirmed that it was level. As you can see from the screenshots, I made sure that it was very level on the playing mat, the mold, etc. So it wasn't an issue if I was basically I was basically doing it on the side of a mountain, or I was trying to play on the roof of a yurt. Nothing like that. but I tried different things to try to like prop up and just like without breaking it. Now again, this is a $30 game. This is not Dark Tower where you're going to get this high quality mold, and so you get what you get. But it is something that if you have gamers that are particularly like really kind of like wanting to get a nice distribution, like people like me, it's going to be something that might irk you a little bit. Again, it creates hotspots that probably would be better off not being hotspots. It persistently. You're going to have games. I mean, the marbles are going to flow, so you might have games or something goes really awry. But I actually sat down one night for about 30 minutes and just twisted and twisted and twisted and just wrote down my results. Yeah, that's how weird I am. And it was that this was not an issue of just I happen to have bad luck. So with that, there are some ways that you can mitigate it. Again, you can just deal with it, and it'll probably be fine. You can, kids are, as they're moving the marbles, are going to try and go, well, I'm going to try and move it to get it to go over here instead of over there. Sometimes it won't. Maybe that's a mini game in itself. What the heck? There's also the, how you turn it. One of my kids had the theory that, like, if you turn it to the left and then turn it to the right and then to the left, you kind of, maybe it changes the results. Whatever, have fun with that. The other thing you could do if you really want determinism was suggested was if the marble doesn't drop straight down, then roll a d6 and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and put it wherever it is. Like, let that happen. Or a d7 if you really want to just get real gamey. But that's basically it. The only other thing I would say that isn't glowingly positive is that this is not a meaty deck builder. This is not a meaty game. This is not something that is going to... I wouldn't expect people to expect it to be, but just in case, you're not going to get more than a nice casual family game with a few twists that bring a gamer's game kind of into it. So let's get to the pros. As much as I said I didn't like the mountain meld, it is a striking visual like centerpiece. I love that they included that. I mean, they could have just had a board and they could have just had, draw marble from a bag and, draw, roll a D, like I said, roll a D7 or whatever. They could have done that and it would have been okay, but they didn't. And they went with this nice visceral sort of thing, mountaintop with, they made something with a literally heightened table presence, and I applaud them for that. I think that's an amazing thing for a $30 game. Yes, it's not, like I said, it's not, the finest craftsmanship that, Swedish watchmakers could have, abide by, but it's nonetheless pleasant, and I'm glad that they took that risk. The mountain marble premise, I think is cool. I really, it hits a mood that one would want in kind of this Disney Western motif kind of thing. The deck building is mild, but it's just right for this game. It's not taxing on the brain. The buying, the upgrading, the trading options, they're quick. They're nothing earth-shattering, but they are satisfying. There's not a strong element of take that where you're, cart battles, Mario minecart, nothing like that. But there is a mild tension that you could be knocked off or bumped past an optimal spot where your cards would have worked out better, but then, Buzz over here had to knock you over. Anyway, and again, the game it's not a thrill ride, it's a theme ride. Think of it that way as you're playing the game. And unlike the disastrous for our family Jungle Cruise, this starts strong, it stays strong through the gameplay, and it finishes strong in a tightly appropriate time frame. We played this game and felt satisfied with the amount of time we played it, such that we would bring it out and play it again. And there's lots of, like I said, Gamers Games trappings in here. Even though it's meant for a casual audience, there's a few little introductory things like, hey, did you know, using your cards, shuffling your cards back. This could be an excellent on-ramp for someone into Dominion. Like, if you like that, there's a game that actually does the whole card drafting thing as a game. Woo! So anyway, so with that said, in conclusion, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I think Disney and Funko have done
This is kind of their take, it seems, on kind of a Clank meets Dominion meets Marble Madness with an oh so subtle Dune Imperium kind of thing. Just an amalgamation of different things, just subtle little stuff brought into this experience. And in reality, it is a darn tootin' good riff on the crazy mine shaft down a mountain into this trading center theme. This is not a simulation of the ride. This is more of an extrapolation of the theme of that ride for the purposes of making a very interesting game. It's not a game that an avid gamer or a war gamer would bring out as a staple, but it's an inviting and it's a whimsical family game that adults can play without the commensurate eye roll, and that kids can play and enjoy at the same time. I was, as usual with Funko Games, I've only had one game. I've literally only had one game that I didn't really like from them over the years, and they have just again hit it out of the park with another thematic representation of a Disney game. So rock on, Big Thunder Mountain, casual gamers. I highly recommend. I think you're going to have fun with it. Take care, and we'll see you next time on Harebrained Games.